Sirens Curse is Cedar Point's newest roller coaster and one of their very best. This ride opened as one of Vecoma's first major thrill coasters in the United States, turning it into a giant make-or-break moment for Vekoma. Since this ride went to Cedar Point, it's become the advertisement for Vecoma's new-gen coasters in the states that they needed, so we can expect new-gen Vecomas to finally have a presence in America. But is Sirens good? The layout of Sirens Curse is amazing, but we first must talk about what makes Sirens so unique, that tilt track. I rode Sirens Curse twice, and that tilt track is one of the coolest parts of any coaster I've done. The on-ride audio, which I'll get to later into the video, adds so much to the experience I can't imagine it without it. Aside from that, we have to talk about how the tilt track feels. The drop feels a lot more like a launch than a drop, and doing it going straight down is insane, and definitely doesn't feel like a dive coaster to me. The tilt track is incredible, and I hope that these end up a success and appear more often in parks around the US. While having a good gimmick is important, often coasters that rely too much on their gimmick fail to deliver a good layout. Sirens Curse doesn't fail to do this because its layout is super well done. The pull-out of the first drop adds to the intensity of it since it was really intense from my memory. The first element is really fun and a great complement to the tilt drop since it's so compact. Barrel roll elements are super fun. Then there are the airtime hills, which give solid airtime, especially in the back row. And going under the tunnel, especially at night, is a very cool mode. Then you go into this weird but graceful element, which I definitely enjoyed. There really aren't any coasters I've rode with elements like this, but they are appreciated. After this, you hit another airtime hill, then a barrel roll. Then an amazing airtime finale. Overall, the whole ride is great, and the layout itself would place in my top 10. What the ride really excels at is its theming. All of the theming of Sirens Curse is much better than anything Cedar Point has ever done. The beginning of the ride is cool with the almost heavenly sirens calls and the on-ride audio hyping it up even more. After you drop, the on-ride audio turns into intense metal music, which greatly complements the layout. Not just this, but the layout wraps around the queue line and a large body of water dyed purple. Going under the queue is very cool, and at night the colored fog is awesome. The lights on Sirens Curse itself look amazing both on-ride and off-ride. You aren't too far away from the lake, which definitely adds to the atmosphere of the ride. Overall, theme on Sirens Curse greatly affects the ride experience, and it is part of why I love Sirens Curse so much. The restraints on Sirens Curse are fine. The vests can get somewhat uncomfortable, but for the most part is fine. It would be nice if the trains just had lap bars though, since they definitely could have done that and it would be much more comfortable. Maybe something like Top Thrill 2's restraints would have worked, although the vests aren't a major hindrance to the ride experience. Sirens Curse will give you some very long lines, and on both times I rode it, once in the morning and once at night, we waited about an hour and a half to ride. Unfortunately, Sirens Curse can only run 2 trains at a time, unlike products Cedar Point usually purchases with 3 trains, such as Steel Vengeance and Millennium Force. And the trains hold 24 riders, which gives Sirens Curse an hourly capacity of around 900 to 1,000 riders, which can cause lines to stack up. Clearly, Sirens Curse was not built for Cedar Point, but rather a smaller park like Six Flags Mexico, which is where the ride's parts were originally located. This ride is glass smooth. I don't think there's any ride I've done that felt smoother than this outside of maybe Guardians. Seriously, there's no rattle or roughness to the track at all. Maybe it's because it's so new, but I really don't think there's anything to complain about when it comes to the smoothness of the ride. Sirens Curse is my number 2 overall and number 2 in the park. Despite the fact that it was definitely not built with Cedar Point in mind, it comfortably sits in the park's star coaster lineup and in the top 5 of the park for most, which is high praise at Cedar Point. Sirens Curse is an easy 10 out of 10 without question, and I hope to ride it again soon.